Oh,
I'm
welcome.
just,
Jesus, bro.
I'm just sorry. I'm just a bit like,
That's we've been talking shit for 3 minutes. Jesus. Okay,
we
let's do
talk
this.
shit all the time.
Yo,
Hold on.
welcome to the fucking Rhetoric with your boy Two Phone Totem. And I'm with today on this fucking rainy Saturday. What's poppin', bro? That's my name now, Two Phone Totem. What's my name? Two Phone Totem. What's poppin', bro?
This nigga said Two Phone Totem.
2 Phone Totem,
Like,
bro.
that's your name.
That's my name for this episode.
I'm good, bro. How you doing?
I'm cold, bro.
Really?
Hi, Renee.
There you go. She back. She's back.
With the whoop whoops.
You know what I'm saying? Ad-lib girl.
Live girl, bro. Yeah. Welcome, guys. Shout out to the 28 people that have been listening.
Yeah.
I'd like to announce that we're on iTunes and we're on Spotify. So this episode is going to be on both platforms plus SoundCloud. So shout out to everybody that got us on SoundCloud. Shout out to the people that listen on Spotify, which is only myself. And shout out to Renee for pumping us on iTunes and for pumping us on iTunes and somebody else. We need to learn to account for the numbers. But other than that, yeah, episode 2 of the Rhetoric. What's good?
Quick shout out. If in case you're wondering why our voices are a bit clearer, I'm just in case you're wondering why like our voices are a bit clearer right now. We're obviously in the studio recording with like very decent mics. We don't know how often we'll be able to record in the studio, so enjoy it. Enjoy the moment. We'll try, put on as best a show as we can.
Sure.
And yeah, there's quite
Shout
a few
out to
things.
Renee for that too.
Shout out to Renee. You already
Can
know.
you whoop whoop in the mic, please?
Can you whoop? Yeah. Whoop whoop.
No, whoop whoop.
No,
properly.
dude, why are you being foolish?
Whoop whoop.
Exactly,
Whoop,
that's what's up.
So, fun fact about the studio: this is the studio that used to do GXD radio for those who used to listen to that shit.
Nobody cares, bro.
Bro, people care. Man. People care.
I'm joking.
It's so nostalgic actually being here.
Really?
Yeah, it's very nostalgic.
You're out here like in your Ebro / DJ NVC.
Bro,
I'm in the Charlemagne position in the corner over here.
AKA Peter Rosenberg. Why didn't you mention him?
Okay, I mean, shout out.
Is he white?
No, man, come on.
Is he Jewish?
Nah, don't be.
And he weird?
No.
Nah.
Rosenberg's the G, man.
Yeah,
Shout out to
Rosenberg is dope. Rosenberg is dope. So yeah,
I appreciate Rosenberg.
On today's episode, right, we got a fuck ton of things. We got a special, or we were supposed to have a special guest, but we're going to handle a situation with him telephonically, and we're going to talk about some real shit in the hip hop thing, in the hip hop climate, and then Renee wanted us to talk about men's conference. None of us went there, so
I don't know about all that.
Oh, you went out there? You went to men's conference?
I attended day 2.
What was the men's conference? Actually, yeah, let's actually get into it now because I don't know what men's conference was. I think I found out about men's conference on the 12th. Mm-hmm. So what's men's conference and what was it all about, bro?
Well, men's conference was just a gathering of the fraternity of
why
brothers.
Why are you trying to talk like Luther Vandross, bro? Like speak properly, Cam.
Look, it was just a gathering, fraternity of brothers coming through, sharing ideas
about what,
trying to be progressive, trying to better ourselves as men, because we realize that
we are trash.
We have become a problem in society. Let me rather say that. Let's not hinder on negative energy. We've become a problem in society.
Okay.
So we're trying to better ourselves,
Okay.
And part of that is also ensuring that we know what we want from a woman. We know the kind of woman we want, and we're also trying to figure out, what kind of woman blends in with, a good man. Because as much as, you got the brothers that are doing the most, you also got the females that are doing the most too. So if you want to have a progressive society, we gotta blend the brothers and the sisters. So men's conference 2020, we will be inviting some.
There's a 2020. Now you guys were just, so it was a cockfest where you niggas were
Nah, you know what? Don't bring that energy.
Okay, let me not bring that
progressive.
It was a progressive
gathering of brothers
for
the betterment of society
and the species.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. Now,
so what we're trying to do is we're trying to better ourselves, right? Like in order for us to be the best we can be, we need to tackle the issues that we have as men. You know what I mean?
Sure.
As men, we need to gather together. We need to talk. Open space.
I'm still not understanding why video is not being
spaces.
taken right now. Like I feel like this should be a conversation that's on video.
Look, it's on podcast. Okay, we're waiting for the call, homie. You know,
Okay.
when
Also, now we're gonna take videos when the call comes, so we can show people
after.
Oh, after when the
Yeah.
call. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So we're not trying to put.
I don't know why you're derailing this conversation about men's conference right now. I'm trying to explain to you.
Okay, sure. Yeah, men's
why this
conference.
shit
My
was so
bad.
important.
My bad. Sure.
And you making me just go on and on and
Okay,
on.
sure. Yeah,
about
men's
this thing.
conference. So you guys, basically, I got the point. You guys were just sitting there and you guys were just discussing ways on how to better the species.
Think of it as an AA session
Sure,
for men.
Sure, I got that.
You know
part.
what I mean?
So what about the hoopla that was on thing? Actually, you know, social media is not real, so niggas do things for likes.
Exactly.
So I'm not gonna. Is that them?
No, it's just some random text. Sorry.
Oh, so that's not them telling you. Okay,
No.
that's fine. So yeah, okay, I get it. I get what men's conference is all about.
Yeah.
Sure, bro. Like, to be honest, I'm not trying to waste my energy on men's conference.
Yeah.
Largely because I feel like niggas were just trying to run away from their responsibilities of being a Valentine's to their girl.
But what does that even mean?
I was about to go into that. That also is a different thing that I'm not trying to go into because that's also like societal expectations that don't make sense.
Yeah.
I just feel like the day was a normal day. It was rainy.
Valentine's Day is meant for children in like preschool and primary and at the most high school. Like if you're a grown up, like I think you should kind of let it go now.
Sure.
Like every day, if you're in a relationship, every day should be your Valentine. I'm gonna just say some corny shit like that.
Sure, that's true. That's true. No, that's true. But also, I think what Valentine. I think as a society, we moved away or we strayed away from the core message of Valentine. And Valentine is just like it's a reminder of love, bro. Valentine is just a reminder of love. That's it. We're in the ghetto right now. Like that's some ghetto ass shit that just happened.
Yeah, the mic is doing funny style things. It's okay. It's a
reminder
of love.
Yeah, it's a reminder of love, and just it's supposed to remind you that okay, you know, because largely the world is fucked up, and you know it makes you go through a fuck ton of things. And hey, man, like just we in love right now, and this is what's going on. If you don't have love, Valentine's supposed to remind you that the support system that you have around you also is filled with love, I believe. Right. So the commercialization of it is cool.
You sounded like an educated brother right now.
Hey, listen, nigga. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, also, I'm not mad about the commercialization of it, you know. As a staunch capitalist, do what you got to do to get that money, you know. But I feel like let's not harp on the idea of trying to set standards that are not real. If you want chocolate, go get it. Yo, speaking of chocolate, so guys, you guys know this is fun. I wanna actually explain this shit to you. This is not for the listener. This is for us.
Oh my god!
Right, but
so we're about to have a conversation within mid podcast.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's do it.
So guys, you guys know I don't know how to drive, right? You guys know I don't know how to drive.
Yeah.
Well, I do, but I don't. Like
you don't know how to drive. It's fine.
So I know how to drive, but I don't do it that much. So
you don't know how to drive.
The skill is not being practiced. Sure.
Yeah.
So I'm chilling with my girl, and it's like Saturday night. We lethargic and whatever. Then I'm like, yo, I'm craving chocolate, right? And she's like, bro, I'm not going back to the shop. She had just came back from the shop. Right, so we're chilling, and we're in Pretoria, by the way, right? So I don't know this place, but it's a dope place. Morotile Park is actually a fucking dope place, right? For its name, you would think there's a fuck ton of black people there, but like there's a shit ton of white people. The infrastructure is amazing. Look, every time I go Airbnb in Pretoria, I feel like I fall in love with the place even more. So yeah,
Pretoria is nice.
Yeah, for those that didn't know, I hate Pretoria, or I hate it. I think I'm warming up to the idea of Pretoria now. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so my girl is like, I'm not going back to the shop, bro. Take the car keys and go. And
my god!
In my head, I'm like, what the fuck you talking about? Like what? She's like, take the car keys and go.
Oh, man.
Right? I'm like, alone? She's like, yes. I'm like,
no. Yes. Yeah. Did I stutter?
Yeah. I'm like, no, bro, it's impossible. Anyway, she's like, okay, cool. I'll be in the passenger seat. So we get into the car, bro. Right, I start the car. Right, I take it out of parking. Right, like normal. Right. By the way, I suffer from anxiety, so you would imagine my anxiety was like on high levels.
Is it a manual?
Nah, it's automatic. So I was on the easier side. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I put the car in drive. You know, I take it out the thingy, the parking. I get out the gate. It was a what do you call these things? you know these houses that are on a cul-de-sac, and then they turn the cul-de-sac into like a enclosed estate type thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So on the cul-de-sac it's like 3 houses, and
Yeah.
then there's them houses have their own gates, and then by the shore, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I get out the first gate, get out the second gate, turn right. This is at night, by the way, like 8 o'clock or some shit like that. So I'm driving down the street, bro, and then I get to a T junction, and there's traffic. Bro, I freeze, dog. Like I freeze, and then eventually she looks at me and she's like, I hope you're not gonna freeze on me, like right now. Like I'm with my girl, so now toxic masculinity is hitting me hard, right? So eventually, you know, I do my thing. I turn, I get into the garage, I park the car, I take my anxious ass to go buy chocolate. I come out, I see she goes into the driver's seat. She's like, just because you were anxious at the T junction, I'm just gonna pass this T junction, but you wanna drive us all the way home. So, and I managed to drive.
Your girl, I was about to say your mom's. Your girl be like,
well,
exactly. Well, she be schooling you right now. She be giving you them facts like
she schooled me, bro.
Lessons,
bro. You know.
Wow, dude.
So yeah. Anyway, I drove at night. It wasn't the first time, but like it was a first time in like, let's say 6 months or like 7.
But just in terms of like your anxiety and you know how you felt in that moment, how do you like when it was done? How did you feel about it?
I didn't feel anything. My anxiety was choking me, and I didn't have my pills, right? So I'm still like I think I became numb to everything that night, like everything, right? Till like no, I'm lying, not everything, but like I was like for the majority of the night I was very numb. Like I remember I didn't taste the food. Nothing was like no feeling, right? Till like 4 or 5 hours later.
Busted down.
Nah. No.
Bust down,
Tatiana.
Bust down, Tatiana. From Cotton Fest, I missed that homie.
Oh, that homie with the buzz down on the watch. Yeah, shout out to that guy. I forgot his name. Shout out to the homie. Yeah, don't you have his name, bro? Like, didn't you take his name down?
His name is Buzz Down.
Shout out to Buzz Down Tatiana from Cotton Fest. But yeah, I was numb, and then like right after 4 hours or 5 hours, like I started like puffing on my vape. Shout out to all the vape gods out there. Shout out. Like, yo, Renee is like a sound effect person.
Like, like we don't have sound effects. We have Renee. Like, so that's it, right?
So I just after puffing like my vape and like drinking like a strong glass of vodka, not vodka, gin and juice, I became cool. But the experience was dope, though. The experience was dope.
Well, I'm glad you went through that.
I think I wanna go through it some more. Right,
you need to, because that's that. Look, I'm not an expert on, you know, mental illness and mental health and things like that.
Yeah.
But just from general life, I feel like you do need to conquer things that you feel like set you back. Like,
of course.
You have to attack them head on.
Of course.
Regardless of, you know, at some point when you feel like in the right space, etc., etc.
Of course.
That's the only way you get to move on.
You get to move on. And that's the only way I'll get to know how to drive.
Yeah.
Like, properly.
Yeah.
You know, not like some bullshit. Although one thing that I know is that I wasn't bad. Like, I wasn't like, you know, the car wasn't jerking or whatever. I was actually driving properly.
Well, because it was automatic.
It was automatic.
Manual,
I drove a manual car. That's what I'm saying. Like, the last time I drove prior to that time was 6 months prior, and I drove a manual car at night too to go to the garage. So it was kind of like the same situation, just with 2 different cars and 2 different circumstances. The other time I was with the homie Bonks. Shout out to the homie Bonks. And like, he just got out the car and he was like, "Yo, drive." And I was like, "What?"
God. And you don't have a license, eh?
Yeah, and I don't have a license.
I'm not trying to get you arrested, but
whatever, bro. Like, this is South Africa, bro. You know what I mean? But yeah, like, I don't have a license. And he got out the car and was like, "Drive." And I was like, "What the fuck do you mean drive?" I was like, "Drive, bro. You said you want to learn how to drive, so drive." And
but do you think that's an issue though? Because I honestly feel like there's so many young kids now. Like,
what's an issue?
Like, not like young kids not learning how to drive like early enough.
Do you think there's? Because I know.
I mean, look, I can only speak about like the bubble of people that I've been exposed to.
Okay.
But a lot of them like
don't know how to drive.
Yeah, dude. Like, let me just even say,
what's their social?
In my workplace where I go work, where like I sit with with other people that.
Sure.
It's pretty much similar situation as me, so that's their socio-economic status.
I was gonna say, what's their socio-economic status?
But so they're fine, right?
Okay.
But they just don't, like, I know, like,
excuse me.
like 2 of my homies
Don't drive.
don't drive. I
Do
think
they not?
one other homie.
Do they know how to drive?
Like, nah, they don't. Like, it's, and they're like way old. Okay, one or two are like a couple of years older than me. The other one is like the same age.
Okay.
But it's like, it's so weird. It's like, but it's such a norm because it's like, oh, well, you know.
Well, there's Uber, bro.
Public transport,
exactly.
and stuff like that. And
I think. Sorry to interrupt you, but I think from where I come from, right? Like many people know how to drive. It's actually a thing you should be ashamed of when you don't know how to drive.
Yeah, for sure.
Right around my circle, like I don't even put it out like that. Like, hey, I don't know how to drive, unless I'm being asked. Like, yo, do you know how to drive? Like, nah. It's like, why? Then I have to like tell a very sad story that like prompted me not to know how to drive. Right, which is I'm not trying to go into that, but basically, I'm not trying to bring such energies into the podcast. But yeah, you know what I'm saying. Like, obviously, for me, circumstances that I don't know how to drive. Although there was a car in my house, but circumstances made me not know how to drive. So from there, and then anxiety just made it worse. You know, I didn't know that I had anxiety at the time. People would just be like, "Yo, don't you want to know how to drive?" I remember when my boy Oliver, when he was learning how to drive. He was like, yo, let's learn how to drive together. And at the time I was just like, no, I don't want to do it. Right. And he was like, why? And I'm like, because I don't feel good. Like it doesn't make me feel good. Obviously I couldn't be like,
it doesn't make you feel good.
Yeah, because obviously I didn't know it was anxiety, right? Because anxiety like makes you it kind of cripples you, like it physically cripples you. So I was like, nah, the thought of just being behind the wheel doesn't make me feel good. And nobody understood what I was talking about. But now I can obviously articulate it better. Like, no, I was going through some anxiety. So so I feel like it's a chance for me to learn how to drive. Even in my previous relationship, when my ex was learning how to drive, I was just kind of like, nah, I don't wanna learn how to drive.
I love how people are like learning these things about you right now.
Oh yeah,
people are like, told him opening up.
I'm opening up this episode. Largely because we're waiting for people to call us so we can conduct this fucking interview, bro. You know, and like they taking their merry time. They're like an hour late, aren't they? 30 minutes now. They're about to be 30 minutes. I'm gonna hit you 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. They're officially 30 minutes late. Like right now. So I might as well just tell people about my driving experience.
I think that was a bit unnecessary, bro.
What, that I counted?
Yeah, that
just gotta show people that we got a clock in the
No, but okay, but moving on though.
Sure.
So today we're talking about a couple of things.
Yes, sir.
We're talking about a couple of things, and I guess the natural progression would just be, let's start with So Far Gone. Because it's the 10-year anniversary this past week.
Wait, before we start on So Far Gone, right? I don't think you introduced that section properly. That was whack and dry, right? I feel like you had to say something that segued into it. That was a horrible segue. Like, try it again, bro. Please. I know you better than that. You can do better than that. Have you realized, right? Sorry, now I'm about to segue again, right? Not segue, but like go on tangent. So, so I learned a fuck ton of things, right, this week, and how patronizing it is when you're in a learner situation and there's somebody there that's your mentor or whatever, and then you did some dumb shit, and then they come to you and say, you know, you can do better than this. This is not you. This is a bad reflection on your character.
Are you trying to say you're my mentor right now?
No, not that. It's just that some like that happened, and I felt like, yo, that's patronizing somebody, right? And I called it out, and they were like, no, we're not patronizing. We actually admitting to the fact that this is not who you are. And I was like, no, but then you patronizing them by you saying that. Why don't you just say, yo, this is trash. Go back to the drawing board and figure it out, instead of you going, this is not who you are, right? There's a bad reflection on your character. Do you understand that that's one isolated event, and what you're saying is that it gives a bad reflection on who I am as a human being? That's bullshit, bro. Like, that's bullshit. It's like you taking a piss on the corner.
Oh, man. Right?
And then somebody coming to you and say, oh, you're a street pisser now. Not knowing that, like, you're a ump. This dude, that rocks a...
Nah, it's okay.
That rocks a do-rag because he's obsessed with waves. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Anyway, let's get into So Far Gone. So So Far Gone turned 10 this week. Right. 2009.
Yeah.
Where were you?
I was in grade 7.
This nigga young as a motherfucker.
I was in grade 7, man. It was so wild because at the time, like, access to like internet, just access to internet,
Sure.
and like trying to download songs was a bit tough. Like, I actually remember, ironically enough, like, it's actually how I started the article I wrote about Kid Tini.
Sure.
Kid Tini, when we're still with Vision, is that it was so hard to get South African songs and stuff like that, but like the American stuff you could get easily
At any point in time.
I didn't have a computer or anything I was using, right?
Okay.
Like, I just had my cell phone, and I think it was like some like Nokia, like something Music Express crap.
Oh, I had that. Don't be saying crap, bro. Like, there's a nostalgic ass phone for people.
Yeah.
The red one, right? That came out with the Chris Brown Transformer ringtone.
I don't remember. I just remember it being like touch screen.
It is that one.
I just remember it being touch screen. It was like, I mean, compared to like what we have these days, like, it wasn't that intuitive.
I don't know what you have these days, nigga. I miss that phone. Sure.
But yeah, so I mean, one of my favorite songs from that album is probably like November 18th or Uptown. Obviously, Best I Ever Had is a classic. That was the first time I ever got introduced to Drake.
Of course,
you see the
everybody
video,
else, yeah.
And homie's like, when they give you that D, I want you to take that D. I was like, oh my god.
Yo, it's so funny. It's so funny, right, that you called it an album, right? Because he has the line where he goes, drop a mixtape. That shit sounded like an album.
Who the thought a countrywide tour would be the outcome,
right? Of which that changed the climate of everything.
Of course,
right?
Because it was a mixtape.
It was a mixtape, and it would drop 2009. I was in grade 11. I remember there was this guy called Kuda. Exactly. I'm old as fuck.
My God.
I'm a fossil in the studio.
What?
There was a guy called Kuda, right? Shout out to Kuda, wherever he is. And I haven't seen that nigga in so many years. But anyway, I think that was the last time I saw Kuda, right? Where he played Me Successful.
Oh.
Yeah. And it was like, yo, there's this kid called Drake. Boom, 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 light skinned dude. And I was like, who the fuck is Drake, bro? Like, I'm listening to Lil Wayne right here. Which is funny because I didn't even know that he was affiliated to Lil Wayne like that. Yeah. Right? I was like, bro, Lil Wayne is my god. What the fuck you talking about? Played me Drake. I heard Wayne's verse at the end. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I co-signed him just off the strength that Wayne was there. You understand? And just fast forward to who Drake is right now, bro. Like So Far Gone shaped the culture so much. I read an article years back, actually, where J.Cole was like, So Far Gone changed his whole perspective. Like, before he dropped the warm-up. Like, the warm-up was just freestyles. Yeah. Because it was the Wayne era, right? Yeah. So freestyles were the shit. Mm-hmm. And then Drake came out with So Far Gone, and then J. Cole had to go back, change the warm-up to songs instead of freestyles. Yeah. And also, I remember from TDE, Absol, and Schoolboy Q, right, spoke about the same thing. That, like, when that shit dropped, it changed everything. Like, they were sitting in the studio, and they were like, who the fuck is this? Yeah. And, like, his shit sounds so album-like. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. To just think of it, like 2009.
I think it was one of those first projects where, funny enough, my homie from work, he doesn't even like the idea of a mixtape because these days it's like everything is just converged so much that it's like it's a body of work. Whatever you release as a body of work is that, like, and it should be consumed as one and given the respect that it deserves. Right? Yeah. And so for him, I think it was like the fact that was like the first, major project that he had dropped and everything, and the quality, you know what I mean?
The quality, yeah.
Like,
quality,
we weren't even when you think about someone like Lil Wayne or T.I. or whoever it is, whoever was dropping mixtapes at the time, we weren't used to getting that kind of quality
from a mixtape.
Sure. You know what I mean? Sure. Especially when someone's like, oh, this is a mixtape. You just think, okay, cool. Exactly that. It's freestyles. This guy's going to put his name out there and show, like, why he's that guy. Sure. Or why he's next. Sure. And then Drake said, nah, I'm going to come smooth with it. Which
I ask myself, how did he even get to that point, right? Because if you listen to Room for Improvement, if you listen to, which was, like, I think his first mixtape he dropped, and then what's the other one? I think it's October's Very Own or some shit like that, right? Where he's got the brown autumn background, and he's got right. even those projects, you could hear he was alluding to making songs, like the songwriting, because he was freestyling still, but like you had songs like Replacement Girl with Trey Songz, which was really his first big song, right? And that in itself was a song. You had songs like Digital Girl, right, with Kanye and him, right?
You're taking me back now.
Exactly. Wow. You had how, like, I liked how, Wayne. It's so funny because Wayne also is such a he's a catalyst in hip hop, right? Because Wayne was famous for jacking beats, right?
Yeah.
So like he would jack your beat and he would kill your beat, right? And then your song that is not the one, his version of the song.
Lil Wayne was the reason why you wouldn't get best rap performance at the Grammys.
Exactly, because he jacked your beat.
Because he jacked your beat and did it better than you.
Exactly.
So
right, and Drake took that, like, on both those mixtapes, Room for Improvement and the other one. Actually, can't we? Is the Wi-Fi out here? Is the Wi-Fi out here? No Wi-Fi in there? Shit. Can't you go? Be Charlemagne, dog. You know what Charlemagne does? He's always on the internet, bro.
But I'm gonna try to Google that shit.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But what was I saying? Oh yeah. Even on those mixtapes, right? Like he would take there's a song by Robin Thicke that he remixed very well. Right, and that was Drake's thing, because if you listen to So Far Gone, like songs like Let's Call the Whole Thing Off. What is it called? I think it's called Let's Call the Whole Thing Off or some shit like that. Or Call Off or some shit like that.
Yeah.
All right,
yeah.
Sure. That's an original song.
Let's Call It Off.
Let's Call It Off. That's an original song by Bjorn and somebody else.
Yeah.
That's like, it was there before Drake even. It's not like they built it in the studio, but he jacked that and created a song and even included them. Same with Leaky Leak, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That was a How You Move Him, Hey. That was a song that already existed.
Yeah.
So he kind of took like the Wayne method and just perfected it and made songs instead of killing niggas.
Yeah, he made it more wholesome.
He made it more wholesome.
He
That's
made it
the
more.
word.
Oh man,
that's the word. Is that them now?
Nah, man, this is something else. Huh?
Like, yo, you waiting for this phone call and they latest shit.
You ain't gotta. We're having a conversation about Drake right now.
My bad. So yeah, like I said, like he took the Wayne thing and he made it more wholesome.
Yeah.
And I think that's what changed everything, because also his approach to it wasn't too aggressive. His approach to it wasn't like a bandit, like, because Wayne was Pirates of the Caribbean type shit.
Yeah, you'd literally snatch your beat.
You understand? So Drake complimented your shit.
Yeah.
Right. He didn't even try to do like some tacky ass shit of rapping on top of it. He would sing on parts that needed to be sang.
I think also
sang, whatever the fuck.
I think what I appreciate the most about Drake is that he really cared about the listening experience of the user.
Yes, like, exactly.
It comes through so much, when you listen to his, that mixtape, that album, and it's like, that's the reason why for me, right?
Sure.
Because people always talk about like, oh man, like Drake, and his fan girls and all of that kind of stuff, but that's really why Drake got to them. Because if you look at like famous pop artists of time or even current, right? Like they give their listeners a different kind of listening experience. You know what I'm saying? Like you listen to that thing, you're like, oh man, this voice is coming through beautifully, and oh wow, like, production and all that kind of stuff. Drake literally so he took that I'm a snatch your beat mentality from Wayne, and he took that wholesome energy of someone like a Beyonce or whatever it is, and
Brian McKnight more so. But
fine,
yeah,
let's go Brian McKnight, bro.
Please,
let's go Brian McKnight.
Please,
okay,
sure.
So he takes that experience and he packages it in one thing, one body of work, and that's his first offering, and that's his
his third though. His third.
Well, his first mainstream
offering. Sure.
His first offering that quote unquote matters.
Sure.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Sure.
So and that's how people consume them, and people like who's this guy? Like who's this guy that you can clearly tell that he has a very superior lyrical ability, yet at the same time
he has superior song making abilities.
Yeah, but you're not gonna. Don't come here with that energy. Try to deny like
Okay.
Drake can't rap.
Look what I'm saying. No, the reason why. No. Let me come into it. Let me come into it. Let me come into it.
Deny.
I feel like we're speaking in the sense of 2009 here. We're not speaking. We're not speaking in the sense of 2019. I feel like Drake. You did something that was mad unfair, right? So you said here comes this guy with like a high level, whatever the fuck you say, but a high level of lyrical like ability.
Yeah.
When I'm not saying he couldn't be a rapper, but I think you did something unfair to him. You did an injustice to him, because there's a difference between lyrical ability and songwriting ability and having both.
I'm not denying that, but you can't. You
got to put it in the conversation.
Nah, but they don't live separately. They do. They do. They do. No,
they do.
No,
okay.
No.
Okay. Here's the thing. Okay, cool.
Listen.
Because I'm going to show you they do.
Listen, because you're basically saying that you can't recognize Drake's, lyrical ability as a standalone. You can't recognize his songwriting ability as a standalone.
You're not understanding what I'm saying.
Because what
I'm saying you gotta package them together, because that's what makes him powerful.
But that's exactly what I said. Is that
you said it alone?
No, because you didn't let me finish. Because I was saying he's coming through with the Brian McKnight experience. He's coming through with the Lil Wayne "I'ma Snatch Your Beat." At the same time, so now here's a guy that's rapping on a superior lyrical level. Yet at the same time, his songwriting abilities is allowing you to be introspective about not only.
All right.
Not just looking into what this guy's going through, but now you're
actually looking at yourself too.
Like you're like, damn, bro.
Yeah, like Drake.
Like I'm feeling a bit saucy right now.
Of course, like Drake scored a lot of my relationships in high school. Like
you know
that
what
much
saying?
I can say.
And that's what was Drake. That's what was great about Drake. And I'm not sure. Like I can't speak. I'm not a historian, but I don't think there was an artist that had that ability.
In hip hop,
we had been exposed to someone on that scale that had that kind of ability.
In hip hop or in music in general?
No, I'm talking about hip hop, obviously. I'm talking about hip hop, but I'm talking about at that scale, because you can't deny, man.
Arguable,
like
bro.
My thing is this: if your first ever single as a breakout artist is "Baby, You're My Everything, You're All I Ever Wanted, We Could Do It Real Big," like, come on, fam.
I'm arguing.
That was a statement piece, because he was like, he had a clear.
Arguing that.
What?
I'm arguing it. Whatever you're saying, I feel like Drake is great, but by you saying he might have been the first one to come up with that type of.
I didn't say he's the first one. No.
What did you say?
I said he was the first dude to come out on a mainstream level and give you that kind of experience.
I'm arguing that.
On a super mainstream level, consume that. Okay, let's go.
That. Okay, so
give me the list.
There's
the list.
There's only a couple. Right now, one that I can think of, right before I say his name, is we need to look at the climate of the time, right? So 2009, you had these millennials who were raised in nuclear families and were raised by mothers who had careers, and some were raised by mothers on their own, so they had a more feminist and emotional what's the word that I'm looking for? Emotional upbringing, so to say. Yes, for lack of a better word, right? There's a better word to say that, but not to